What's up? Most athletes don't know how to warm up. That's something I found time and time again when I start working with new athletes is I'll ask them to let me see their warm up. Let's see what you have. What are you working with? And most of them just have no idea. They might do a little smashing, a little bashing, a little foam rolling. And listen, there's a place for that. However, I found that all it takes is 5 very simple, straightforward mobility exercises that target one of 5 very key principles is all you need for a really good warm up. So I'm going to talk to you about what those principles are today, and we're going to do all of that with one band, how you can get a really great, short, effective warm up with just one band. My name is Julia. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I work with weightlifters and functional fitness athletes to improve their mobility and return to sport after injury. Our 5 principles of mobility so that you can really get all of it done in a short amount of time are: number 1, bracing, something that is core focused and allows you to understand how to use your trunk, not for flexion, right? We're not doing crunches and sit-ups, but how to create stiffness and how to create structure to the rest of your body. So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be T-spine. We need some really good upper back mobility, particularly if you are an overhead athlete, like my weightlifters. Number 3, we're going to target hips. Hips don't lie. 4, shoulders. And lastly, 5, we're going to look at ankles. Okay, as I mentioned, our very first priority when addressing mobility and when starting to warm up after you've done like your rolling, your heart rate stuff is core and bracing, things that are going to help you find a lot of stability through your midline. There's a lot of ways we can do that. For today, I'm going to show you a bear hold. So not like a bear crawl, we're just going to hold and do some shoulder taps. When you set up for this, I want the shoulder directly over the wrist, spread the hands out nice and wide so we get a lot of surface area underneath the palms. You're going to tuck the toes under and just lightly lift the knees off the ground. You notice I'm not coming up into like a downward facing dog. For this, you're going to want the feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Already, abdominals are engaged. And from there, without a whole lot of shifting and rotating, you're just going to take one hand, nice and slow and controlled, and you're going to tap it across to the opposite shoulder. So what you're going to feel, in addition to core, is a lot of quads. The knees are going to get warmed up. The feet are going to get warmed up because we're tucking them under. We're getting some wrist loading. We're getting some shoulders. A lot going on in one quick introductory exercise. We're going to utilize our one band to help you get some better T-spine mobility. T-spine just refers to your thoracic spine. It's the upper part of your back, and we need it to be able to move a lot more than your lower back does, in fact. We want it to be able to rotate. We want to be able to flex and extend, all that good stuff. So I've taken my band here, I've looped it around a squat rack. I'm going to take it around my shoulder like a backpack, okay? Then from here, I'm taking the shoulder that is wrapped furthest away from the rack. So the rack is on my left side. Right now, the band is around my right shoulder. I'm going to take the opposite hand down. I'm going to take that working hand behind my head, and I'm going to allow the band to assist me in thoracic rotation. So I'm just kneeling. My hips are back towards my heels. I come back down. And I rotate and I really lean into the band. It's going to be able to pull me further than I could go on my own. Once we've done some T-spine, some upper back, we're going to grab that band, and you may have done something like this. We're going to take it for our shoulders and do some pass-throughs, but we're going to add some pull-aparts to it so that we're not just passively moving a joint through its range of motion, we're also really finding some good activation. So I'm going to take my hands as wide as I need to on that band. I'm going to add a little bit of tension to it. I'm already pulling apart. Then I'm going to take nice big circles around, and every time I get back to in front of my body, I'm going to add a pull apart, squeezing my shoulder blades together. I go back around, try to take it all the way behind you, back out in front. We don't really need to go here, right? Most of us can get our arms to our sides, but we can get some really good muscular work with adding in that pull apart. Back to the center, boom. Core, T-spine, shoulders. The way we're going to be able to utilize the band for some hip mobility, again, I've got it looped around the rack. I'm just going to take the leg that is closest to it through the loop, and I'm going to wedge that all the way up high against the hip, right? I want it close to the groin. Then from there, I'm going to take a nice big lunge. That foot's going to step forward. We're going to lean into it. I'm actually really focusing on this back quad. However, the band is assisting me in some external rotation. This is really great if you feel like you're constantly really tight through the inner part of the hip, like where your pockets are. So I'm going to let the band do its thing, and then I'm going to take this back leg and press into my toes, elevating the knee off the ground. So again, I feel that good stretch through that front of the quad into the hip flexor. Lastly, I've got my same band looped around that rack. I'm going to step into it. This time, I'm placing the band right around the top of the ankle. And I want a decent amount of tension on it. From here, I'm going to be able to work some stability, some balance, but also really some good ankle mobility. I'm shifting my weight onto that standing leg. The other leg is just going to reach forward, and I'm going to bend my knee and reach it as far forward as I can. Now, you can start with this on level ground and just let the band add a little bit of traction to that joint. If we want to make it harder, we're just going to elevate you. We're going to stand on something up a little bit higher. This turns it into a variation of a Peterson step down, right? So standing leg bends, knee goes forward, heel stays on the ground, other leg just reaches out. I'm working on balance, I'm working on stability. But again, I'm allowing that band to assist me in creating a little bit more space in the joint. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and check out some of the other playlists on both weightlifting technique and mobility exercises that you can do to get back to sport, back to training, healthier and more mobile.